Live. Hey.
Oh, there you go.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We are on Wisdom Wednesday, episode 11. We are bringing you washout and drying tips on photoresist film. And Dr. Feingrid, I will hand it over to you and then we'll start the show.
All right, welcome back. Episode number 11, everybody. It's been a ride. Like I said, San Carmen's like a roller coaster. So it's been a good ride. I just want to mention this is the last episode from my home. I'm going to be working in the office starting tomorrow. So I found some little neat things around the house. I got this as a gift from JDS Industries several years ago. So little handy things around the house, like coffee mugs I tend to show from time to time. So really been a good time. But I'm looking forward to working with you in the shop where I can actually get into the equipment more in detail, show you some very neat things. So without further ado, I want to get right into it. And we're going to do a question and answer period right afterwards, live. So looking forward to hearing those questions once again. And like I said, enjoy. We'll talk to you again soon. Hi, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Dr. Feingrid here, working with all of you on some new tips and tricks. Today's tip of the day is going to be washout developing with our R5 5mm resist. Very popular resist for glassware, even the stone items. So it's a very versatile product. I'm going to go over some washout tips and drying tips. So stay tuned for that. The way the process works is, again, we have our AccuBlack inkjet material, which I have here on my left hand. It's printed with an Epson P400 printer. There are Canon Pixmas, there's HP, Office Pros, other printers on the market you could use, but I do recommend the Epson P400. So that's how you start the process. Next, you would put the film, take out your package. It is light sensitive at this point, so make sure you're in a area where you're blocking all the windows, skylights, any kind of sunlight. It's going to damage the film. So wear your white lights, you're fine for a little while. So expose in the film with your quick image LED or electrolyte. There's a variety of units out there. So if you have a specific model, we'll work with you on that as well. So without further ado, we're going to go right to the washout steps. So this is how the R5 resist looks after exposing with UV light. You don't see an image yet, and that's normal because water is needed to develop it. So we're going to put this on a white clipboard, as you see here. Flip it on. And when I put the artwork on here, I actually put the artwork about a 1/4 inch from the border, so that way my hinges don't cover up the image area. So I'm going to clip that on. A white clipboard is crucial in this process, so you know when the mask is fully developed. So a white background, anything that's bright that you can notice. A blue background would be a bad idea. So what we're going to do next is grab a water developing device. This is a trigger jet nozzle that Iconic sells. They're about $30, and they attach right to a garden hose like you see here. Very easy attachment. Garden hose comes in any length, of course, so you can do this in a variety of areas in your shop or your garage, or you have water access. So it does give off 55 pounds of pressure, so it's very adequate for developing any of our films. And it's got a brass nozzle on the end, so that gives you a good V-jet pattern, which you'll see here in a minute. The next part is, again, this is still light sensitive, so if you're in an area where there's skylights, windows, make sure you block those with a shade or some sort. Maybe put your back to the wall. Anything that will protect light from hitting the stencil at this point. So what we're going to do is just kind of rinse the image a little bit. You'll see how I'm just going to hit it with cold water. We're right next to Lake Superior, so the water temps are a little lower than the average lake in our country. So water temperature starts out pretty cold here. But what you'll notice is the cold water with our R series does start to see some appearance happening here. You can see that's a pre-wash method. Okay. This is how you can tell when the artwork is very dense and very good artwork, is you can start seeing your ghost image even with just a couple soaks. Okay, that's a very critical part of your process, because if you don't see a ghost image, more than likely your artwork is not dense or where it needs to be. You may have to go and reinvent the artwork. So that's a good critical step. So temperature water does help critically as well. Like I said, our water temperature here, it starts at like 80 degrees or colder, very, very chilly. So the colder the water, it does take more time to develop the stencil. So if you can get a water temperature up a little higher, I do recommend between 115 to 130 degrees. So you just set your water heater to that degree and turn your hot water all the way up to the max, and that'll be your water temperature. So 130 will wash out the film faster than a 115 degree temperature. Critical thing there is, of course, safety of your hands and your splatter, right? You don't want to get hot water blowing back in your face. So that'll be just a judgment deal. So here I'm going to start hitting the mask with my cold water. And you can see how it's starting to really develop quick. And that's with that pre-soak. I just hit it a little bit initially. And it's kind of penetrating through the emulsion. It's going to basically knock it out quicker than normal. And as I'm putting the cold water at the stencil, the water is going to warm up a little bit, but very gradually. So this is about 30 seconds into my washout developing, and you're going to start seeing a white area, and that means my membrane is completely washed out. So that was hit with higher pressure water or maybe a little bit hotter water. So that developed quicker than the other areas, which is fine because we're going to knock out the rest of it here in about 10 seconds. So it's a very quick developing film. You're going to notice now that I have an area opened up, it's really going to develop quick. See it there? So it's really going to start developing quick from here on out once I get parts of the membrane removed. And this is a 5 mil resist, so it does take about a minute to a minute and a half to develop in water with the pressure like this. If you have a pressure washer, it's going to be under a minute. I've had people go as low as 20 seconds with their pressure washer unit. So, pressure does matter, but the water temperature matters as well. So the ultimate scenario would be hot water with high pressure. Then you're down into the 30-second washout developing time. But in most cases, people have low pressure cold water, which will work with our R series film, but it will take a bit longer. So here I'm going to just fully develop the whole image now. You can see how it just knocks it right out now. There you have it. R5 fully developed. Here's a tip for those that are developing by hand. It's not automated, so you might miss a spot or two. So here's a little tip. Rather than go over the whole image again with your water, which may waterlog, kind of make areas absorb more water and may lose some detail, what you do is just kind of spot wash it. So it's just a little flip of the trigger. Just do a little spot like this. And that's going to fully develop that one spot for you, rather than waterlogging the whole image. All right, considering R5 is a self-adhesive film, and it's got a slight tack level to it. So you got to be a little careful when you handle it after developing. So when you grab the film, usually what I'll do is I'll bend it the opposite direction so the two carriers are touching, and that's not going to stick. Now, if you make a mistake and you fold it over the opposite direction, you're sticking tape to tape, right? So it's going to stick, and look what happened. Okay, it's stuck, and you're probably thinking at this point, it's ruined. I got to restart my whole process. Well, not today, because I'm going to show you a tip. Get it wet again. So what you do, take it here. Doesn't matter how bad it is. You just get to the spot where you just have to basically, there you go. The easy trick there is to put the film in a basin with water and just pull it apart. And that should separate it within a few seconds. So a little tip there for you. Back to new. So even though it's stuck together, you get it wet again, boom. This is fully washed out and ready to dry. So got a polyester background. So what I'm gonna do is just clean it to a piece of acrylic. I just use my washout tanks like these and clip it up. And that's gonna hold it there until it's fully dried on the emulsion side. There are clips as well that you can put on the acrylic to hold it if you're, got a lot of people coming through there with heavy winds, brushing the side of it. So, but yeah, just clean it on the sidewall, put it on a clothesline. You can put it on a wall with magnets. It has to be a metal strip, of course, with a magnet to hold it on. Variety of ways to dry the film. So, all right, so once the film is fully dried, what I do here is apply the film to silicone release paper. So this is a film that's got a waxy layer and a paper layer. So you put on the waxy surface and you give it just a little light squeeze, and that applies it to the release paper. It's not going to be sticky. Okay, all you're trying to do there is just remove the air pockets. Okay, very light. And you can reuse this silicone release paper over and over again, and it comes in rolls too. So the big sheets and large format, and unless you cut it up, of course. So what I do is I cut the film up ahead of time.
All right, so welcome back. Darren, what did you think of the video?
Well,
Oh,
a lot of water. I got pretty thirsty. But yeah, it went well. As I mentioned, getting back into the shop and being able to do these Q&As right in the shop would be a lot more helpful, I think, too, down the road. But yeah, I think the video went pretty well. I don't know. We'll see what the audience says.
Yeah,
right?
It sounded like there might have been some sound problems for some people, so we can upload a better version of that later.
Yeah, it did kind of skip around. Maybe a little bit.
But no one ever gave us credit for being professional actors by any means. So we've got some questions right away here, so we'll start jumping into those. Laura wants to know, do the thicker films take more time to wash out?
Great question, Laura. Yeah, the film I used in the exercise was 5mm resist, so it's designed for deep carving capability. With that, it does take a little bit longer to wash, fully develop each layer. So if I was going to show a quick video, I showed the 3mm, but I wanted to show a thicker mask to show how clean and how easy it is to really wash out even a thicker stencil like the 5mm. So 3mm resist would take generally 30 seconds to a minute to wash out. The 5mm, like I used in the exercise, would roughly be about a minute to maybe 90 seconds based upon your water temperature and your pressure. So yes. And people that actually ask me quite a bit on that formula is if it takes you 30 seconds to wash out 3mm, that's 10 seconds per mil, right? So 5mm would be 10 seconds per mil as well. So it'd be 50 seconds. So there's a good quick formula, right?
Great answer.
Yeah.
As far as washing out for methods, are automated washout machines faster than the trigger jet nozzle? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, the trigger jet, I use that in this video just to show people that this is the great way to get into the business. It's a $30 nozzle and a garden hose. Very easy to get and start up. The automated washers are more pressure. They're about 250 PSI per nozzle, and there's 5 to 6 of them in the machine. So you can really develop in a short amount of time with those. Also, with the automated units, the nozzle distance is less than 2 inches away from your mask. So with the more pressure applied to the stencil, it does develop quicker. If I did the trigger jet that distance, I would get water everywhere, and it would be really hard to control my speed, because you're using your hand instead of a automated machine. So I might have a few mishaps with that trigger jet. But yeah, the automated machine is quicker because the nozzle distance is shorter, the pressure is higher. You can get a higher temperature going through there with some water heaters or an Insta heat heater. And also with the automated units, the drum spins faster, so it hits it on a cycle. So yeah, automated units are more efficient, but it comes to the price tag, right?
So this next question kind of goes hand in hand with the last question, but maybe you just want to mention some of the other extra advantages. They wanted to know, can you talk about some of the advantages of an automated washout machine versus a pressure washer? And something that kind of comes to my mind is like the water temperature gauge and the lights in there and the timer on there. Maybe you want to just talk about those, Claire?
Well, yeah, pressure washers are great because they're higher pressure, 1200, 1500, 2400 PSI, which does work with our film, believe it or not. Our 3mm resist is going to hold up to any pressure, all right, to a point. You got to have a strong backer, like a piece of stone or a piece of hard material to withstand a higher pressure, of course. But the film is not going to tear if you have the right distance. But as far as the pressure washer deal, they're generally run or designed for cold water only. If you run hot water through those, you're going to damage the O-rings and you're going to have a leaking pressure washer over time. Plus, it's messy and loud, and it's, you have a drainage system for it. So with the automated units, you have an LED light in the unit. It's temperature water that's gauged, so you know exactly what temperature you're at. It also has a PSI rating, so you know if your nozzles are starting to clog or maybe your nozzles are starting to wear on the automated machine. You can tell by the way the gauge is going. If it's dropping water pressure, that's a sign that you need to change your nozzles. So there are ways to tell on that. But the other advantage of automated units would be the size of the film. We have 14 by 38 on our Pro unit. You can do it one time or do multiple sheets all at once. And it's simply just putting the film on the drum, put a magnet on it, shut the lid, and hit the button. So it's really easy to use. And it just saves you from having to hold an object in your hand for a minute or two.
Yeah, you might need a really big clipboard to measure up to the size of what the drum can hold.
Yeah, in that video we just shot there, you'll notice that there's a couple clipboards on there, but I've actually put in 4 or 5 during some of the seminars I taught over the years all at once. So that way one person can wash out all 5 at one time, but it's a huge, we have customers that would shoot the water above the tank and get water on the wall. And we'd have like a little Mississippi River running below it sometimes. So yeah, you want to make sure that your water is contained and you have good aim if you have a pressure washer.
Well, that's a pretty good tip though too, putting clipboards together. I wouldn't have thought of that. So on to the next question here. Bob would like to know the advantages and disadvantages to using the Photoresist washout versus rapid mask, and maybe we can sort of apply the drying methods, or how apply this to our topic today, I guess.
Yeah, since we're the only company in the world that has the dry and the wet film, we get this question quite a bit. And here's the truth behind the matter. The washout films use a positive piece of artwork instead of a negative. So you do use less toner or ink in your process. But add on the water and the drying time later on. So it's what I tell customers is what's more valuable or costly to you is the ink cost, versus the water and extra labor. Where does that go in your process? So it really comes down to the number of people working in that department, and number of projects going on. But the other advantage would be the washout films are no longer light sensitive after you fully develop it with water. So let's say you had a job of 2,000 growlers. You can develop all your 2,000 stencils on Monday, put them out on a table, sunlight, doesn't matter where it goes, keep it away from dust, of course, but any kind of lighting in your shop or outside is not going to affect the stencil any further. So I have a lot of customers, for example, that work in the monument industry that work on site at cemeteries. So that's where the washout film is a necessity, because you can put the stencil right on the monument or a pet memorial or right on the tree and sandblast it right on site. So that's another advantage. And then third would be the washout films are more stretchable. You'll see in some of the videos I've shown where I've done red wine, balloon glasses, a lot of, I call them chisel cuts on bases, maybe doing the inside of a coffee mug, if you want to do the handle in between, where it's a very challenging real estate area to get film to adhere, and especially on there without wrinkles and bubbles can be a challenge. Whereas with washout film, you can stretch it and it gets on there beautifully. The membrane conforms, whereas wrap mask, the membrane is slightly brittle, right? So you gotta be a little selective on your artwork if you have a big curve on your piece. So yeah, those are kind of the three big ones that I get every day.
And I suppose that, production time plays a lot into the preference of whether a shop would want to use washout or rapid mask or dry process, because there are the extra steps of exposing to washing to drying and all that.
Yeah, I would say this. A lot of the customers I work with right off the bat, everyone is first, why would I do washout when I could just expose, apply, and blast? Now I'm working in my house, or maybe an office area where I don't have access to water. Do I need to go get a pressure washer? Do I need to get a sink? Do I need to get all this different types of equipment? And the answer is no. Rapid mask will work on everything we've done, and that's why we've done these videos. Compound curves, halftones, multi-stage carving. The dry film does work on every of these processes, as long as you have the right information. And that way you don't have to go invest in water, developing, and creating a bigger workspace to create the same stencil, really. So yeah, they're both great films, great processes. So it's just a matter of preference. And that's why when we do sell our combo kits to beginners, our startup companies, we provide the rapid mask and the wet film in the same kit. It's called our combo process kit. So I would suggest going that route if you're not really sure what substrates you might get into down the road.
Yeah, that's some really great advice, Darren. And just for everyone out there watching too, if you're in doubt of what process you think might be right for you, just give somebody a call at Iconics, tell them what you're doing or what project you're going to be working on, and they can help kind of guide you in the right direction on which film they think that you might work best for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then Sean here has another question and wants to know, is a film dryer necessary if my shop is pretty humid in the summer? That's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Sean. The water developing should take 30 seconds, whether it's high humidity or low, right? But the drying time gets affected by humidity. The higher the humidity, the longer the dry time. So rather than wait for your film to dry in 45 minutes to an hour in 100% humidity, getting a film dryer would be a good idea if you're in that type of quick kind of environment, right? That where everything's got to be done yesterday kind of thing going. So the dryer, we sell a 4-shelf dryer. They're 30 by 19 sheets that can fit in there, or a 10 by 12, maybe 2 sheets in there of each shelf. The thing with that though, here's a trick. When you put the film on the dryer, it's open, right? In the front, so it's going to suck in all that humidity. So what you do there is you put a flap, like a cover over the front, made out of cardboard, could be any type of non-flammable material. Put it in front, and then just block from excess humidity getting in there. So it just basically recycles the same air. So that's the tip with the PB dryers. Now, if you're going to do this in larger format, there are conveyor dryers. We have a D100 that does wider sheets, and that'll work as well. They come up to 54 inches wide, but again, that's based upon your productivity and how big your piece is going to be. But to go back to this question, yeah, humidity, it really comes down to your patience level. If your customer's willing to wait an hour, then there's no need for a dryer system. But again, having a hair dryer handy might be a good effective tool to start with. Hair dryers will fully dry it, even in high humidity. And there's other formats like heat lamps, dehydrators. There's other things you can play with just to dial it down the dry time.
Okay, great. Here's another drying question too, and this is an excellent question because I have ran into this problem myself and had to kind of figure it out the hard way. But
We've all been there.
The question is, what if you over dry the R5? Can you reactivate the adhesive?
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually a good topic right now because I use the analogy of like your lawn outside during a drought. Right now, my lawn is crispy. It's not green. So I'm thinking it's dead, right? Not necessarily. If you add water to my lawn, I reactivate it. So the same thing applies to the film. If you apply a little moisture to the back of the adhesive, it'll reactivate it. You're all used to licking stamps. Maybe not as much as before, but when you lick a stamp, it reactivates the glue. So what I recommend there is not using a mist of water. I recommend just using a damp rag and just kind of tap it with a damp rag. And you don't want a whole lot of water on there. You just need moisture or humidity, and that'll reactivate it. So yeah, back when the question earlier from Sean, high humidity, you're probably never going to over dry the film. So you wouldn't have that problem. But if you're in lower humidity, or if you stick it in the dryer for a day and forget about it, it's going to be over dried. And again, just reactivate it by damping it with a little water or a clean cotton rag. Dampen it. That would be the best method for that. Some people tend to huff on it, like breathe on it. That does the trick too. But if you got a large piece to do, I would not recommend that. Maybe out of breath.
What about a little steamer gun? I've seen those used too.
Yeah.
You recommend those?
Yeah, some of the larger shops that I run into, they'll have like a steamer set up on their table, just constantly coming out with little steam. They'll just take their stencil and kind of go over it once, and that reactivates it. But generally, those are people that are working with higher end substrates or items where the surface is very hard to get the film to adhere to. So they want a stickier mask, and that's what they do. They steam it ahead of applying. Same thing goes for like cold surfaces. You want a stickier stencil. So yeah, if you can't get your mask to stick, just apply a little moisture to the back, and you'd be surprised how well it sticks after that.
All right, good thoughts. I also had to mention too that I think I speak for all of us when I say that I love your analogies.
Yeah.
I love the lawn and the grass.
I know. It's all just comes up just randomly, so I apologize if they're.
You were probably a comedian in your other life. Well, while we're waiting for more questions, I'll just mention a few things in the news too for Iconics. So we have still been doing the digital trade shows. If you haven't seen those, you can check out the Iconics Imaging YouTube channel and watch those. And if you tune in, you are able to take advantage of our trade show special pricing on some products there. So mention that to your reps, and we can walk you through that. We also are finally participating in another live seminar. We're super happy to be getting back to that and seeing some of our customers and people that want to get into the sand carving business. Darren, if you want, you can elaborate on what we're doing and who we're doing this with in July.
Yeah, absolutely. For doing these Wisdom Wednesdays and just being able to offer seminars over the years, I get a lot of requests from customers to do local or, certain areas where we do hands-on workshops. Hands-on is where you can actually work with the equipment, the film, and we're there to offer assistance as needed. So the next big event, we're going to have one in Arlington, Texas in July. I don't have the exact dates.
July 9th and 10th, I believe.
Okay, great. I'm at my house. I don't have a calendar. That'll be in Arlington, Texas. We're going to collaborate with Trotec Laser. It's a great company that is Plymouth, Michigan. We're in Duluth, Minnesota. So we're going to head down to Trotec's facility down there and teach a workshop on laser engraving, sand carving, and how they work together. Looking forward to a great event, seeing people. We're actually going to obviously take on every precaution going on right now with the virus. But we'll be safe and we'll have a blast, of course. But, looking forward to that event. And we'll probably have more later in the year, too, in different locations. So we're coming to Texas in July.
Yeah, so if you haven't had the chance to sign up, please check that out. You can register either through Trotec's website or go on our website and check out our events page, and you can figure out how to register for that. So I don't see a lot of questions coming in anymore. So I think we can start wrapping this up. But if you're not already subscribing, please do. Congratulations, Dr. Feingrit. You have reached over 100 subscribers since in this short time frame that we've had the show. So round of applause to you. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you to our subscribers. And if you have any questions for Dr. Feingrit or need to place an order, just give him a shout. You can either email him at djones@iconics.com or give him a call at 1-800-643-1037 extension 113. Aren't you just amazed how much I can remember about
Amazing.
It just rolls off the top of my head now.
That's amazing. Appreciate that. I just want to give one shout out though. Is being in my home here for the last 2.5 months, doing these for everyone. It's been a neat experience, but it's been, my 3 kids and my wife. I've had to shut their Wi-Fi off for an hour, which can be a little challenging for 3 teenagers. So I want to thank them for allowing me to do these at home and allowing me to use the Wi-Fi, and just being able to offer advice from here, and looking forward to what we could bring to you when we're going back to our office space and shops down the road. Hopefully all of you are doing well and getting back to the shop or back to work in your home, whatever it may be, and doing well. And keep in touch because, we're in this business to work together. If you're not growing, we're not growing, vice versa. So keep in touch and look forward to seeing you down the road at some event and possibly down in Texas.
All right. Well,
Thank
you
you,
guys.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We will see you next week, but we may be taking a break here in the upcoming weeks with the Arlington seminar. So be patient with us, but we'll continue to pump out some content that'll help you out. So, all right. See you guys.
Blast with confidence and have a blast. Take care.